We are streaming. We are streaming. Patrick Rooney here with Old School. And I have my good friends with me already. I didn't even start in a one shot or whatever you call that. I have Robert Campbell here in the upper left hand corner. Say hello, Robert.
How you doing,
And
folks?
Robert is, how do you say that? You're a writer, so you have a tag that you put with your writings. What is that tag?
I'm just a hobbyist. I mean, I write, paint, work, do all kind of stuff. So
But you
not
say you're
professionally, but I
you're a Christian.
yeah, I like to write articles
But you
and
say what's that tag that you use? You know what I'm talking about? You are a
you mean
Christian
a
conservative,
Christian
black,
American Republican that happens to be black.
happens to be
Yeah,
black, is
Right.
Christian. There you go.
that's good.
Yes.
I like that. Um, yeah, right on. And you write for, can I say who you write for?
Yes, you can
You
do
write for
whatever. Rap
raptureready.com,
yes.
and that's for
Rapture forums
Rapture Forums as
and
well.
Rapture forums, yeah.
Great.
Occasionally.
By the way, Mike Jones, on the right here, upper right. Many of you know Mike from the Perilous World Radio. He's the engineer, chief guru, whatever you want to call him. Sometimes you'll see him on the show.
Yeah,
He follows
I know
politics a
just
lot.
enough to be dangerous. Yes.
uh, and but he's I tell you what, we went through a lot to get this show up today, and Mike spent a lot of his day helping me out. So thank you, Mike, a lot. This
No
show would
problem.
not have even popped up on the air. There's no way it would have happened without Mike. So thank you. I'm learning a lot from Mike too. I wish I knew a lot more right now, but I got what I got. Right. It's really amazing that I've learned what I have so far. And I would say it shows that anybody, because I wasn't a technical person at all, and I still don't consider myself a technical person, but if I can do some of this stuff, then there's hope for everybody. That's the way I see it in this technical world. Um, Brian Pombo is here. Brian J. Pombo of Brian
Hey
J.
there,
Pombo. Hi, Brian. What website do you want to give out?
brianjpombo.com is fine.
Mhm.
BrianJPombo.com. And he's a political smarty, entrepreneur. Got a lot of things going for him. And I'm glad that you were able to make it tonight. I'm glad all you guys were able to make it. This is the first. I did a show last week as kind of a run through, and honestly, this is a little bit of a run through tonight too. But I didn't have any guests on last week, so it's really cool to have friends on again. And I want you guys. We're going to talk about the border situation. We're having fun here, but it's a very serious situation, as we know. I would call it an invasion. I didn't put that in my title because I didn't know what YouTube was going to do, but they could be funny about things. But I consider what's happening an invasion, and I'm sure you guys probably do as well. And we're going to talk about that, and we're going to do a little bit of reaction video as well tonight, hopefully, and we're going to see how that goes. To this, guys, this is just the entry into this situation here. We have a border
In case
emergency.
you wonder why all this is happening,
Yeah,
this is the reason right here.
it's 11 seconds of pure gold.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
This guy's a moron, and he is not in charge of anything, and somebody is running him. But yet he went out there and said, rush the border, basically.
Oh, yeah, but there's a little bit more to it than that.
Okay.
We have to be very careful that we don't let Joe Biden off the hook, because back in like 2015 or something like that, he was sitting with Mayorkas talking about how they were going to enact replacement theory on the country, and that they should surge people into this country, and that it is a good thing that they are going to make the white Europeans a minority. And that was done with Mayorkas sitting right by his side. So these guys are, team players from way back. And that clip that you just played was from a from a debate, a Democratic
Yeah.
primary debate
That's right.
in 2020. So the idea, he was already sending the signal out,
Right. Oh, yeah.
and you know that people in these other countries were clipping the audio from that and sharing it with all of their friends, saying, "If this guy gets elected, we're going to America."
Yeah. Well, all I'm saying is he's still enacting somebody else's agenda. I mean, he believes in a lot of stuff, because the only way that you could believe in the stuff that he believes in is you have to hate this country. I mean, there's no way that any rational person would allow the borders to just be flipped open and just pour in people from God knows where. I mean, there's so many reasons to not do that, starting with people carrying disease to the more higher level things, which are people who may want to just wipe us out, who are just walking through the turnstiles.
And you're combining inflation with downward pressure on wages. That is moronic, man. That's like a recipe for disaster. When you pour all these people in here by market principles, you're going to have a large pool of people looking for work, and a lesser number of people looking for people to hire.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have downward pressure on wages, and that's going to hurt Americans, which is what I'm concerned about. You know, I feel bad for people who are immigrating to this country, because I have a kinship with them in their desire for a better life.
Of course.
And I wish that they would try to make a better life in their own country.
Well, yeah.
But it is obviously a planned thing to have a permanent underclass of people here that can be basically politically dominated, and help them to achieve political domination over their enemies.
Well, I'm gonna bring in
AKA MAGA.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring in some point. Tucker was talking to Alex Jones about this, and I'm going to bring some of that in as we go. But yeah, it's clearly being done for a particular reason, and those people that are being brought in are being taught that white people hate you, and so they're basically. In fact, I've heard that they're bringing some of these people in with the idea that they want to have some of them go into the military and police forces. How's that going to work out? They're already coming in hating the people who are here. I guess they're the perfect police force for the New World Order, or whatever you want to call it.
Hey,
right?
Tucker mentioned that anybody who's paying attention, they're creating a force of people to go to battle with their political enemies in this country.
It's pretty dang. If you're looking at this from an evil point of view, it's pretty dang smart. It's no accident. We all know that. I want to get you guys in too here, Brian and Robert. I know everyone's mics are working and headsets are going. I know you guys have something to say. So who wants to go first here? Who got something they want to say about this? I know you got to have something that's on your mind. Robert, I think you want to go.
Well, here's my dilemma, and I stopped looking at the news, for the last 3 weeks, and just to see if you turn it back on in 3 weeks, you get the same old BS.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Everything that's going on around the world is so quiet. I mean, we get tidbits of this, and here's really what's funny to me. We are all intelligent human beings. Why are we not calling Biden sick? Why are we not saying it publicly that he has dementia? Even the media is not saying it. The right is not saying it. Why are we being fooled from the top down? We know the man is sick. It's obvious that somebody else is controlling him.
Mm-hmm.
He's just going up in the podium, just doing what they want. Okay, and it's obvious what they're doing to America. Diluting the KoolAid.
Yeah.
Okay, they want America gone. They want the American way. They hate it. They hate the Christians.
Okay.
It's all about destroying America. And all you're seeing right now is just they're flooding the United States. And what happens, even math. Regular person can't go out and get a regular job. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't blame them from wanting to come over here for a better life. but they're using the people, and they're using us.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to talk about on this show, the reason I have this show to begin with, is to start to talk about what can be done reasonably about this, whether we're in a border state or not. I'm not in a border state. Most of you guys are not in border states. What can we do reasonably to get the word is out, put the pressure on the right people. There's certain things. Anyway, Brian, I know you're a political analyst and cultural analyst too, I think. What say you about all this?
Yeah, I agree with most of what's been said. I like, especially what Robert and what Mike were saying. Mike was said that, recipe for disaster. This is, that's, if your goal is disaster, if your goal is destruction, you can't lose with this.
Yeah, it's a great plan.
With this way of doing
It's
things.
a master plan.
This is the master plan for going about doing it, regardless of who these people are or what their intention is. They could be the greatest people in the world.
That's my dog, by the way,
the
that you saw go in the background there.
Oh yeah.
That's not a CGI.
These.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish up, Brian.
These could be the greatest people in the world, but the real question is what do we do about it? We can see the people that are doing it, or we can see their figureheads that they have out there.
Right, that's right.
So where do we go from here? First thing first, this began in mass form to the extent that we're seeing now with the election of Joe Biden or the installation of Joe Biden as president. You got to replace the president one way or the other. You got to put somebody else out in there with a different agenda. Second, before then, you got to do everything you can from the state level. So you've had many states, Florida, Texas, many of these that are coming out and doing specific things to help reduce this as much as possible. Mm-hmm. You got to take away all the goodies that are bringing people in, all the free stuff, all that, it's the same story that we've been dealing with for the last 20 years when it comes to immigration, but it actually has to be done. You have to remove all the things that are pulling them in here as best as you can. Even then you're still going to have people flood in, but if you remove a lot of that, it's going to be less of a distraction until you take
Instead, they want 15-minute
federal
cities.
Government, you can't do much constitutionally. You can just do as much as you can, especially on the border states.
But wait a minute. Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened, blah, blah, blah. Listen, they are charged. They're in violation of the Constitution right now.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, the states are well within their own power to take this into their own hands.
Totally agree.
And the feds are going to be pissed about that. But
who cares?
The states would not be in violation of the Constitution. The federal government right now is in clear violation.
There's a certain amount that the states can do, and there's a certain amount that you probably wouldn't recommend that they do because two wrongs don't necessarily make a right. There's a process in which you change the federal government. There's the removal of the president. There's a switch over of Congress every 2 years. We have the ability to be able to take a lot of this stuff back.
I'm going to challenge that. I know Robert wants to get into it. I'm just going to challenge that and say, I don't think we have time to wait around. First of all, our election process has been hijacked. We know that. Hopefully, we need to be spending as much time in between now and November, or even further, but especially November, in securing our elections. Some of these elections are already highly questionable at best. I mean, Oregon, the whole voting system is with mail-in ballots, which are totally fraudulent. We have a fraudulent. Go ahead, Brian.
The founding fathers set up everything for us with the Constitution, everything we need to do. We're not doing anything by the rules in America today. None of the senators, the presidents, the governors, none of them are following the rules. We should have had Biden out before he even got in good. First of all, the president, the one before him, should have been here now. See, we're trying to fix stuff that we should have been already fixing because it's already been set in place. Nobody's doing their job.
Well,
Everybody's afraid.
again,
Everybody's afraid. And on one man that was pointing the finger to everybody, we hate his guts.
yeah, but
Okay.
even before
And one man is going to come in here and not depend on what he's going to do what the Constitution says. Well, all we're doing right here is bickering. When you turn on Newsweek, CBS, ABC, they're all talking about junk that we should have been doing already.
yeah,
The founding fathers already set it up.
we did not secure our elections going way back. Somehow Trump got in anyway.
No.
Obama Romney in 2012, in my opinion, I think I'm
Started
allowed to make
right
an opinion.
there.
I think he stole the election. Okay, I'm allowed to make an opinion. I think that was stolen. Trump, I don't know what happened. Maybe through the grace of God, he got in 2016. Maybe they fell asleep. I don't know what it was. Brian, you probably have some thoughts on that, but I don't know what happened. But 2020 was BS. We saw it in front of our eyes. We all know it was BS. And why? Because that system was allowed to be in place because basically, as long as things are going okay, we just want to kick back and do our own thing, right? Isn't that human nature?
Yep.
Anyway, let me play a little bit of Alex Jones talking with Tucker Carlson talking with Alex
Well,
Jones.
is there anybody in the government? I mean, I'm talking about just honest people that go into the government, the state, the Senate. Is there anything that they're not bribed with that'll make them make decisions that they know is against the Constitution and the country, and they're only looking out for themselves, even though it doesn't appear, it looks like they're not doing that. But why is it there's no senators, no one is speaking out against all this evilness that's going on around the world, and we're just sitting back wondering when the Colts are going to win the game.
There was a man, there was a Tennessee lawmaker, and I had a video from him the other day. I don't have it hooked up right now, and he was telling, I think Benny Johnson has a video program. I think Benny Johnson's name, The Benny Show. And he was laying out exactly how these guys get bribed, or how they, not bribe is the wrong word, blackmailed. They go to D.C. Have you ever been to D.C.? Have you guys ever been to D.C.? I've been there.
Yes, I've been there.
It's a cesspool. It's got beautiful government buildings and beautiful things, but if you go down, there's lots of bars, lots of seedy places, lots of corruption, tons of corruption. So this guy was saying on the video, telling the guy in the interview, that what happens is when they go down there, they will go into a bar, they'll go into a place, and before they know it, nice, beautiful woman or man, the case may be, comes up to them.
All the setup.
And
honey
gets
trap.
them into honey trap, gets them into some compromising position. And then the next thing you know, somebody is whispering to them when they want to make a stand of some kind. Hey, we got a little video on you from the other day when you were down at the old bar and grill there.
Well, remember that the congressman that they already got rid of, what was his name, Madison Cawthorn or something like that, or
they got
a
rid of him?
young guy, real young
The
guy,
in the
and he was
wheelchair?
saying
Is that
that,
the wheelchair guy?
yeah, that's right, and he was saying how sexually perverse and perverted it is, all the stuff that's going on, the orgies and all this kind of stuff that's going on in D.C. and they primaried him basically.
Yeah.
They got rid of him as fast as they could, and he's all over Twitter lately going, "See, told you."
Well, there was a guy in Texas, the AG, the Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, I think his name is. And I haven't been following it lately, but I do know that they tried to get rid of him. Now, I don't know what he was doing, whether it was bad or not. I doubt it, because you could get rid of everybody that's there on bad stuff. But they were trying to get rid of him, and I do know that he was trying to secure the elections there in Texas. I do know that for sure. Let me before I'm gonna go to Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones. Before I do that, I want to read something from our chat. Mr. And hi, Six Base is there as well. Good to see you. Good to see you as well. Now, Mr. Sandy LaFontaine said, in the meantime, we need to learn how to grow our own food and to organize with other local, like-minded community members to build alternative systems. I happen to know this gentleman here, and he's absolutely right. And he is doing a lot in that direction. He is doing that, and we all should be doing that. I would say you've got to walk and chew gum at the same time in a certain sense. You know, do these things and also be fighting the fight because, and we're going to get to a little bit of that here because Tucker kind of mentioned some of this too, or actually Alex Jones does. It's kind of a two-pronged thing because while one of the things they're doing is they are pushing us out of the cities, okay, with their insanity, right? Or unsanity, whatever you want to call it. They are pushing us out of the cities. So you look at Seattle, Portland, LA, all these cities. Average people that look around and just want to, raise their kids and have a decent family, they want to get the hell out of there. But once they do that, that's fine. But once they get us out of the cities, they now have control of the command centers, basically, which are the cities. There's a lot of stuff going on in the cities that they can pull the levers and make things happen there while they're pushing us out. And then after they push us out, they're coming for the people in the rural too. They're not going to sit around and wait. I mean, the Russians did that with what do they call it, kulaks, whatever that was down
Kulaks, yeah.
2000.
They slaughtered them, and the ones they didn't kill, they sent to Siberia.
Yeah, so don't think that you're going to run out to the countryside and these people are coming after you. They're buying up the land, and they are going to come after you. So you have to fight. You can't just do one thing or the other. You have to do both. But let me just play a little bit of this here because I think it deals with that. And let me move to our other screen here. Okay, let me play a little bit of this, and we'll comment on this.
Over to the feds who released them.
Well, why not just say the feds are committing a crime? They're committing a crime. This is not allowed under laws passed by the Congress.
We're back to the committing a crime of going over the borders now, okay? These guys flooding over the borders. They've committed a crime. Why not just say?
In a democracy, Congress passed laws. And so you've got criminals running the country. The Biden administration is criminal, which is true. And we're not playing along. And like, if you don't like it, come do something about it. Meanwhile, every able-bodied man with a black rifle assemble at the border, and we're just going to stop this and save the.
Does that sound crazy to anybody?
Well, it's been done before.
Don't answer me because there are people looking at the video. Okay? Don't answer me. But the thing is, people do need to do something to take care of the situation. And I'm not telling people to go do anything out, that they're not supposed to do. But we have to do something. We are under invasion.
The country. I don't understand. Like, that's not hard. What am I missing?
No, I think you're absolutely right. In fact, what the deep state fears would be a coalition of good governors, good attorney generals, giving them the findings and the rulings that they could indeed do that, and then declaring emergencies in the states and having a coalition of the states come in and do this, and then instruct local police and everybody else to not have sanctuary cities. But the problem is, if you're in Texas, every single city, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, are Democrat Party run. And so Texas is almost purple because the California influx and all the other refugees from New York, many of them bring their leftist ideology with them, even though they're fleeing it.
So he's going to go into more stuff there. But they're telling, and Alex Jones lives in Austin right now, and he said that on the show. He's gonna have to leave there pretty soon. He went to his place that people said it's progressive, it's a great city, it's this and that. It's turning into a junk. It's turning into a s-hole, as Trump would say, like these other cities. But whatever it is.
But
go ahead, Mark.
But once again, he's saying what we should do, how we should handle it. While the left is doing everything 100%. We're not doing anything to stop any of this. We're talking. We're saying what we're going to do. We're trying to get a new president. This government is not right. This governor is not doing it right. When are we going to come together as one and do what the Constitution says we're supposed to do? I know. We get them out of here. It's almost to the brink of almost too late now to reverse this. How are you going to turn all these millions of people around, tell them to go back home? How you do that?
Well, let me say this. I don't have an answer to all your questions. Maybe I have an answer to none of your questions. All I know is I want to start talking to people. I want to start getting the word, whatever we need to do to get the word out and to start. I come up with something that we can do because it could be too late. Maybe it's too late. I don't know. But we're here today. We're still alive. God has kept breath in our body for some reason. We're here for something. And if we're not here, at least, of course, we're here to win souls. There's a whole spiritual thing as well. Of course, that's most important. But we can't neglect this. There's something that we can still do. And all of us, we've all failed in our lives. Every one of us here and everyone listening to the show and watching the show, we've all been failures. But the question is, again, we're still here. And this is a talking platform. So we are going to have to talk to some extent if we're going to be on the platform. I don't know what else we can do right now. Yes, we should be doing things. I believe we should be strengthening our own communities. We should be strengthening our own counties and states and things like that. Yes, we need to be doing those things. And in certain counties that I've lived in, you have the ability, because they're smaller entities, you have the ability to do something, to actually control them on a political basis, which you can strengthen your own community. Your own county sheriff, so from what I've heard, is the highest level around as far as he has the authority. So if you have good sheriffs and good counties, you can at least create a strong, much stronger area. We could easily do it. I know Brian knows all about this stuff and has talked about this many times. Do you want to comment on that at all? Go ahead, Mike, if you have a quick.
Yeah, there's a not long ago we've had this guy come to our town here in Josephine County to give a lecture a number of times, Dr. Douglas Frank. And he talks about how our, your county clerk, you need to go and reform the voter rolls, and you cannot expect them to do it. We have to do it. And he basically, I put a link in the chat there to a video that I videotaped here, probably 3-4 months ago. And he goes through the process of what you have to do to reform the election rolls in your county. And that's where the rubber meets the road. You got to do it here. I know Brian's been running the Conservative Action Forum for probably 12 years now, 10, 12 years. And, he's trying to get people involved on that end of things, but we have to have people reforming the election system. We've been waiting for them to do it, and we're sitting around going, hey, nothing's going on. Nobody's doing anything. And you're right, they're not. And Trump just came out the other day and said, if he gets in there, he's going to close the borders instantaneously, and he's going to start the largest deportation program in American history. And so that's what can be done by him if we get him in there. But how are we going to do that if our election system is totally effed over?
Totally out of whack.
Brian, 2 questions. One, any comment you want to make on that, because I know you have things to say about that. But there's also the but, which is in certain states like ours, you have a totally mail-in crap system. So how do you deal with that?
You gotta work with what you have first. The things you have to work with first. What Sandy was talking about is exactly what needs to happen, whether you're talking either on political or a social level. I don't see a whole lot of difference at this point. You need to organize. You need to get out there and interacting with other people. If you do that socially, that can become political over time, because you're increasing your influence. Doing it politically, locally, is what you need to do. Like what Mike's talking about, what Dr. Frank is saying, is you start with your county. We have a county office just right here in town. We have the county headquarters. We have where it's at our courthouse, and that's where the clerk's at. We can go in and talk to her. We have the ability to do these things. It's just about finding out exactly what we need to do, getting more than one person doing it, and then taking the steps necessary to make it happen. Sometimes I know we all can't stand party politics and everything else, but sometimes you need to get involved in the county party or in a county campaign. Get involved and out there and start doing what you can from where you're at. And then the other option will show itself as time goes on, but you have to start the process.
I totally agree. Go ahead, Robert.
Thankfully, our county, the Republican Party apparatus is deeply involved in this. The sponsor of Dr. Frank's several talks that he's given in Grants Pass are by the Josephine County Republican Party. So they're deeply involved. And if you want to help them, and if you're local here, I realize people are watching from all over, but you can go there and they'll plug you into a seat and tell you what to do.
I talked to them the other day, by the way. I'll let you say, Brian. I talked to them the other day, got in there, got, everything, all the registrations and everything. Those people down there, there are some serious people in that office who want to do something and are doing stuff. They're not sitting on the sidelines. They're not throwing rocks. They're not complaining. They're actually doing. And I say hats off those people. They have some good attitudes. I met some of them, great people. And I've been in other places too. I've been in Central Florida area where we had a very solid community. And they changed stuff. We had a board of county commissioners. We changed commissioners. We have now, or they have now, because I'm not there right now, but a much stronger position. And I'm not saying it had anything to do with me. I mean, I was a little bit helpful, but there was all sorts of good, decent people. They've started a group there. One of them is called CORE, Coalition of to Reform Ethics, I believe it was.
But how
Go ahead,
how
Robert.
many that we're in a technological, excuse my words here. We're in a very advanced society now where we got smartphones and computers and all.
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to just physically get in a car and go downtown and sit in a building and wait for their congressman to come out and you got about 30 people behind you fighting for what you're saying. When you got millions sitting on a couch with a smartphone, that should be right where you're saying, they're not doing anything because we're diluting them, which is like diluting KoolAid. No two people can agree on anything no more. We've become so engrossed in the phone.
Let me challenge that. I have heard that basically 3% or whatever it is are the people. There's always a very small number of people who are moving the needle, and the greater number of people. Brian knows this very, very well, and the greater number of people will move with that. So it's always been. I think there's even a nice quote about that somewhere. That it's always been about a small, committed group of people that change the world. You can't worry about what the masses are doing. You can't worry about the masses.
And where is this happening now?
It's happening in Grants Pass.
In America.
Here.
I mean, where?
No, but it's happening.
Give me some states. Give me
This
some
is happening
particular
all
counties,
over the place.
It's happening
sections.
in many places.
So we're in Josephine.
Right.
I'll make
And
a
you know
point
what it's
to try-
called?
What's that?
What's coming up in the 224 elections? That's what it's called. What the people really want. What's going on? That's what they want to see. What's going to happen in this election? That's your people that you're talking about, Patrick.
Sure.
The ones that
And-
don't go downtown. The ones that don't put their vote for a person that's going to change what's going to happen in America. Not nobody's just talking.
I'm not sure what
Somebody's
you mean.
going to actually do it. Even the left are tired of what they're seeing right now. They can't believe what we're seeing in front of our eyes.
Yes. Okay. Now I understand what you're saying.
And this goes beyond just the next presidential election.
Yes.
Because at one time, let's say everything goes the way we want it. We get someone good in there that makes things happen, and it goes good for 4 years. Okay, then what? It all comes back. Just to give a little more perspective on this to tie the whole thing together. This Mike mentioned. We started the Conservative Action Forum 15 years ago. I just did the math. It was right after Obama got in. There was a handful of us going, okay, well, now what? What do we do now? We started meeting in somebody's house, and we kind of bounce around from people's houses. We started meeting. Then we started meeting in more public places. We had large meetings, and we had really tiny meetings. It goes back and forth, fluxes back and forth. And it's just random groups of conservatives meeting once a month and just saying, okay, what can we do now? It's all about action. What can we actually do? In that, though, we have a whole lot of people that have become candidates, that have put things on the ballot, that have changed the county for the better, including what we're looking at, a huge charter change that'll be coming up soon. That was being presented by people who are members. We're not really members of our group, but
can I hold on 1 second on that?
Yeah.
The charter change that hopefully is going to come into play. I know the leftists has their own charter that they're kind of trying to bring in. Hopefully that will go down in flames. just to let Robert know this, the charter that we want to bring in this county in Josephine brings back more control to the county from the state, because the states always want to take the power because they have all the numbers. Go ahead.
So-
Brian, finish up.
So
Let me
So
just
what
Brian,
you're
finish
saying-
up. Hang on, Robert. Let me just let him finish up, and then you can go.
okay.
Yeah, just one last thing to tie
Yeah.
into what Patrick was saying. The huge change that happened at the county level with our Republican Party, it was dead. There was nothing going on there, and we had people that attended our meeting and other meetings that went and recruited just a person that was a Trump supporter that was selling Trump items at during the local weekly parades that they were having up until the election. They took her and put her in charge of the party. And all of a sudden everything changed and started pulling people in that have never been involved in politics before, or they were involved on the other side.
Yeah.
All this stuff can happen, but it takes starting now to get an effect 15
Of
years
course,
later.
for sure.
You can't expect this thing to turn overnight. And I know we're always saying, yeah, but this has to happen fast. Well, we got what we got, and you put one foot in front of the other. That's what you got to do.
You're right. Go ahead, Robert.
So the platform of the Democrat, I don't care about the people in the Democrat. I'm talking about what the platform stands for, and the platform of the Republican Party. I don't see why we're getting all these other groups of people together when you're either going to be on the Republican side or the Democrat. So we want to get in the middle. So they have a different agreement on what they want to agree on. So why are we coming up with all these different pockets of getting people to get on board, having these meetings at the home in the basement? Well, that's what the platform is for.
No, it's not how it works. If you get involved
But
in
yeah.
if you get involved in party politics at any level, you always have segments. You got people that have certain issues that they're interested in more than others. You got
Correct.
people interested in certain candidates more than others. And so there's always this mixture. And even among people that consider themselves conservatives, you have all these different talking points. What we wanted to do was just get people together and focus on action.
Yeah.
What can we do in a positive direction? Because most of the time, that's not what we're focused
So
on.
where-
We're focused on philosophy, and we
Right.
want to
So-
get past
So
that.
has anybody not been doing that now? When do we start now? Because apparently you're talking about the new year. Because
Robert,
start
Robert,
now.
we go back,
Wait. Look,
none of
You-
them
you
have been
call,
doing this.
you call the person you know and say, hey, we're going to start getting together and talking a little bit differently. When are you available? Can we get together tomorrow? Let's grab a cup of coffee. It takes two people, and you build out from there.
right.
But to me, that sounds like Starbucks coffee talk. You're saying it sounds good.
No, you
But
got to
when are we
start
going to
with
do
coffee.
that? Well, who's doing
No,
that?
no, you
Robert,
have to
Robert,
start-
Watch it on the
Wait,
news.
we're
Ain't
doing
nobody
Hang
doing
on,
it.
hang on.
We're
Robert,
doing it.
let me
There's other
just-
people doing it, but we need to start
I don't
connecting
underst-
and getting more and more connected.
Robert,
Now,
let
give me an example of that right there.
Robert, hang on for a
Yeah.
second.
Mhm.
I don't get for a second where you're coming from, because you've got a guy right in front of you. Just look below you. It's like Hollywood Squares. Look at the guy below you on the square. He's been doing this for 15 years and improving his
I was thinking
area.
Brady Bunch.
Okay, Brady Bunch.
His area. Now, what area do you live in? Because you
Josephine
say what
County.
area are we
County.
talking about?
Josephine
So we're
County.
talking about
So
Josephine County.
that county is
Yes.
doing wonderful. All the other counties is not doing wonderful because of what he has done to make that county perfect. Is that what you're saying?
No.
I disagree.
Wait,
No,
We're all
no,
doing what we
wait.
want
Wait,
to
wait.
make.
No, that's-
Robert, I'm saying that you have to start at a small enough level that's controllable, that's around.
When?
15 years ago. You're late
Now.
to the group.
Do you see a change?
It's
Yes,
the whole.
of course
it's
there's a
the-
change. Of course there's
It-
a
Where,
change.
where do you
it's
see the
the-
change? Where do you see the
The
change?
change is that the hell that has been thrust upon us, and for instance, let me give you for instance, if you live in this Josephine County, they've been busing people down from Salem, Portland, and trying to just make it worse and worse. They have a initiative called, what is it, Measure 110 or whatever it's called, where they basically made drugs legal in Oregon. What Brian and these groups are doing are reversing that process as best they can to bring the power back to the people at the more local level. It does work, because without what Brian's doing and people like him, it would be much worse.
I'm not saying all this doesn't work.
Oh, so what are you saying?
All I'm saying, is it working?
Yes, it's working,
I don't see that.
because you're not there.
I see
can
people
always-
talking. We're
You're
going.
right.
We're
You're
going
in your
to
own
having our
area.
coffee, and we're making all this work. But why am I seeing all this on the news? Why is this still happening? Why
It
is
will
America
never end.
declining?
It will never end.
Of course,
Yes,
it's not going
that's
to
right.
end.
Never
That's
stop.
It's not
absolutely
going to
right.
never
We're
end.
going to be fighting this battle till
question
we
is-
die, and our kids will be
Yes.
fighting the same
Right.
battle.
So the question is,
You
what,
just work with what you got
Right,
today.
yeah.
It's the old saying, when's the best time to plant a tree? The best time to plant a tree
20
is 50
years
ago.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
and, when's the next best time?
Yeah, I agree
right
with
now.
everything you're saying.
You know,
Today.
I agree with everything you're saying.
that's all we have. All we have is what we got in front of us.
Yeah.
And so we got to elect a president.
Well, we have a little bit
we
more.
Gotta
We
put,
have
we gotta
faith.
put
We have
good people.
God. You know, we have what the country was started on, which we just
Well,
booted
yeah.
out. And
Yeah,
when
that's
we
what
take
it's all
all that
based
out, all what you're talking about ain't going to work.
Wait,
Oh, no,
I'm gonna be honest with
no.
wait a minute.
Absolutely.
He is
Absolutely.
talking about bringing back the same things that you see in the Bible. I don't understand what.
Yes,
the
100%.
he is
Yeah,
talking
that, yeah,
about.
that's what
100%.
we're talking about. Yeah,
no-
absolutely. That's the foundation of everything.
Activism,
100%.
activism on a political level doesn't have to be a dirty word. It can be hand in hand with what the founding fathers wanted. This is what they wanted. They're the ones that wrote the Declaration of Independence. We're trying to bring it back to
100%.
that. That's all.
And
Anyway,
it can be honestly, it can be starting a gardening club. It could be getting involved in local charities and so forth. That all matters. That all means something, and it's something that most of us, like you said, are stuck on our phones and we don't do enough of. And
Understood.
every one of us
we all understand
needs to do more of it. And the more connection we make with people, the more we'll be able to help change people's hearts and be able to move ourselves forward.
Amen. Mr.
This is a
Go ahead, Mike.
moral issue at heart. This whole thing is really a moral issue, and if the whole country
Spiritual.
was sick of the crap and they decided to move back toward morality, this whole thing would be over in 5 minutes.
For sure.
Because morality dictates when you start talking about trans activists and the goofiness, you have to make major departures from morality to get into
Yes,
that
you do. You
space.
do.
Perfect.
And if you're coming
example,
back in the other direction, you're gonna leave that by default.
The perfect example, what you just said. I don't, the transgenders, perfect example. I have nothing against them. It's the ones that allow for them to be playing on women's sports. It's that person that I'm worried about, not the transgender. Why are we allowing that? Why are we even having a conversation of that?
Well, let me introduce another, since we're talking about spiritual stuff. Can we agree that at some point all hell came up to this earth, that the demons were let out of hell, whatever you want to say? In the last century, the 20th century was the most bloodiest. So many masses of killings in the last century, right? It just kind of went crazy. And now that we have all of the technology that we're using partially here, a lot of people are using technology for bad. So they are spreading, evil is being spread at a alarming rate that's faster than any time in history. So you have to understand that
Exponential, one might say.
Yeah, we are fighting a demonically inspired. We're part of a battle. So it's not like we got like little pushovers here on the other side. We have like a crazy situation going on, and hopefully we are here to help people go in a more rational way and march toward a way that's better. Will we be successful or not? That's up to God. But all we can do, I think, as Brian is indicating, is do what we can do. And what you could do, Robert, in your area is work with whatever you see fit. If you don't agree with the way Brian's doing it here, do something in your own area.
Oh, no, I agree with it. I agree 100%. I just think our technology has, it doesn't allow for us to get that kind of information out in a large amount, like this technology that you can just talk to someone around the world.
I would
That's
say
irony.
I would say it does allow it, and this is why we're learning the technology that we're learning. That's why I'm spending my time learning technology. That's why people like Mike are indispensable. He's showing other people, you can do this. We need to get our message out the same way that they are doing it.
Go grab any 5-year-old and put him on a smartphone, and he can teach you the world, buddy.
You're right about that.
You got a
He
point
would have come
there.
in and told us all how to do all this.
You're absolutely
But,
right. Go ahead.
Listen,
Mike.
people refer to the small number of people. Do you know that it was about 1/3 that delivered this country during the Revolutionary War? It was about 1/3
It
of
always
the
is.
people. That's
It's always the same.
a third in the middle that didn't want nothing to do with it. It was like, hey, don't make waves, everything's going fine for me, because naturally the British were targeting the people that were causing problems for them, and people didn't want to be that. But 1/3, again, that's all you got to do is 1/3. And the thing is, do not discount the power of your own reformation. If you reform yourself,
Amen.
if you speak the truth, if you turn to God,
Amen.
That's
then
right
you're
there.
going
right there.
to influence other people. If you're regular in prayer, that has a power to it that carries through you in your day, and everyone you interact with is influenced by it.
Yeah.
And that is what has to happen if you want to change the country, if you want to change,
God
if you
wants
want
a
to
few
bring
good
back
men
decent.
to do the job.
A few good
God
That's
men.
right.
wants a few good men.
Excellent. Let me play something here for you guys. It kind of just tells you where these guys, Tucker and Alex Jones, are talking about kind of where things are and what they're doing, and kind of why they're doing it, and who's involved in some of this stuff.
Pandemic treaty.
Yeah.
So what this is really a breaking of our will, a demoralization. That's what the transgenderism is, and 2 men can have a baby, and puberty blockers, and castrating little boys, and cutting little girls' breasts off. They've got such hellish stuff coming in this designed global collapse to bring in their world government that they've got to just have all these horrors out there, hoping we just throw up our hands and run off to the countryside, which everybody's doing, and in a way that's good. But at the same time, then they've got full control.
That's totally right.
And they're going to march out of the countryside next and dig us out.
So that's, I mean, you look at the White House press secretary, who can barely speak English, who's one of the stupidest people I've ever seen, and a transparent liar. You wouldn't hire her to run your copy machine. She's the White House press secretary. Why would you do that? And it's not because of her race or who she sleeps with. I think the whole point is she's so obviously repulsive that it makes you feel bad about the country to see her.
I mean, that's it. We're at a beautiful ball. It's prom night. Everybody's dressed great. There's wonderful food, big, delicious punch bowl. And then they say, what can we do? Well, just have Brian Stelter go take a dump right in that.
Yeah.
And then he's there laughing at you. They're all there laughing at you to make you feel small, to make you question reality. Why is everything so ugly? I mean, that's why they tell people, hey, you can be homeless anywhere. You can crap on the street, needles, throw your garbage everywhere. Drug dealers can sell you drugs. We're going to give the homeless all this government funding. Liberal groups come in and farm and milk each homeless person and skim a big cut of the money off the top. It's a crop. But then a cash crop. But then we see that and we think it's all over. There's nothing we can do to demoralize us and make us give up. And even though I'm conscious of this, even though I know this, it's still at a DNA level. I'm like, I got to go to the country. I got to get out of here. I've got to separate myself from this. But then when they release this toxic, cultural, poisonous gas, they push us out of those areas and they get the main infrastructure to then organize that, cut off the food and supplies to that group they have, and then tell them, the reason you're doing bad is not BlackRock and the WF and Bill Gates. It's all those evil people in the countryside. They're all white supremacists and terrorists and racists. Let's go get them. Because the last group they don't control is rural people that are self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Go get the kulaks.
That's why they want to change everything. They want to change everything to digital. They want to control you through the computer. That's why they put the mailing bats on the computer. Once they did that, boy, they almost took over 75% of the world.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. Let me say something about Alex Jones. I am not ashamed whatsoever to say this guy has been a prophet, okay? I don't care what you think about him or how crazy he's acted. I've seen him act pretty crazy. He has been right about a lot of stuff, and that's why they hate him. And I say hats off to this
The Bible says that they'll bring prophets, you know. And who said a prophet you're going to like a prophet? Who said he's going to be, a likable guy?
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody ever said that. He's going to be dressed in a suit looking nice. Point. Right. Who said you got to like it?
Look at all the good that's come.
And that Indian guy, Romney, he started to talk.
Ramaswamy.
He started pure,
I do too.
pure facts on people now. He's going. He ain't got nothing to lose.
And you know what?
Hey,
Okay.
You know what?
Tell
That's-
the
let me say
truth.
something about him,
Go
if you
ahead.
don't mind.
Yeah.
I would almost rather have him at this point than Trump. Because I'll tell you something.
I'm almost there.
If you have a conversation with Trump, you ain't gonna learn nothing. You really aren't going to learn anything. Listen, he says a lot of the right stuff. He says a lot of the things that he wants to do are good things that need to be done. But I'm not convinced that he understands the nature of the enemy. I know that Vivek Ramaswamy does know the nature of the enemy because he can speak about it at length. And
Well, he knows the nature of the enemy now because they're hammering him
Oh, yeah.
heavy. Okay.
Yeah. Well, wait.
He gonna know who his
until-
enemies is when the 24 comes up. He gonna have.
That's
okay.
right.
First agenda.
Well,
Get rid of all of them. Get rid of everybody. The butlers, the janitors,
Oh, you
the
mean throw out all
dogs.
the
Get
help,
everybody out of here.
I agree.
well, wait until the
Drain
very
the
first
swamp
primary
completely.
happens. He is doing really badly in the polling, and I think it's a total scam. I think
they're holding
the
down his
very
numbers.
first,
They have to be.
yeah, the very first time people actually vote, you're going to see that guy is probably number 2, right behind Trump.
Yeah.
Because there ain't no frickin' way that Nikki Haley is,
She's polling.
10 or 15 points above DeSantis
It's all-
or Ramaswamy.
it's
There's
all
just no
smoke
way.
Yeah.
It's all smoke and mirrors, folks. I don't listen to nothing, Newsmax, none of them. All smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah.
have to just have faith in God and just go with the flow.
Yeah.
That's what I see. Nothing but good and evil.
Guys, I'm going to wrap up soon. So if anybody has any closing rants, you better make it now. I just heard an explosion out here. I hope they're not coming for us.
Well, my problem is you don't have to wait on my rants. I
yeah,
interrupt
you just do
everybody and say I'm so
Yeah,
sorry
yeah,
about
yeah.
that, people. That's who I am.
Well,
know?
you're also around people who do that a lot. I had to learn that too when I get on a show with some of these people who will remain nameless right now. No, I'm not
Yes.
putting them down. But the point is, when
AM.
when people are pushing hard, you've got to push harder. You're going to get run over by the
That's
truck.
right.
But anyway, go ahead, Brian. I think you wanted to say
They
something.
I think what Alex Jones said there is tying together what's a huge point
Yeah.
that most conservatives have to get through their heads. I think a good percentage of what's going on out there is there to tweak you.
Mm-hmm.
It's there to flip you over in your head and to get you to react.
Yep.
If you
Look the
cannot
other way.
react, if you can just say, okay, what needs to be done to fix this? Let's say all the liberals disappeared tomorrow. What would we do to fix it?
Mm-hmm.
And start working in that direction. Instead of playing defense, start playing offense. Start going, and when they go nutty, you just go, oh, well, there they go again, and you just keep moving forward. You get them playing defense against us, and we'll know that we're winning.
I agree. Great strategy. Anybody else? Or you guys say what you need to say? Going
I
once?
just want to wait on it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, chat. And Mr. Sandy LaFontaine did say, yes, local regular meetings. He said this earlier, but it still applies. Yes, regular local meetings with doable, limited goals first at the local level, then at greater levels. We need to fix the election machines, whatever we can do. It's a whole nother, it's not another subject, it's part of the subject, but we need to do whatever we can now. Thank you, Brian, for doing all that you're doing with the group, and more people need to be doing that. All of us, I know, are doing things what we can. We need to find out in whatever area we need to step our game up. That's what we need to do. And I see a lot of my own game that needs to be stepped up. So starting
Same
with,
here.
and we all need to be in prayer. I think we all agree with that however we do it, we need to seek God's counsel, because without him, we're going to get rolled. We all know that.
Right.
One way or the other.
We all know that. Thank you, guys. It was a great stream, and thank you for being there, people watching this. We had a little bit of a rough start, but again, look at it as education. I sure do. And I want to say I appreciate all you guys as friends, and I really appreciate you
Same
guys.
here.
Yeah, we're going to march together one way or another and do what we can do, whatever that may be. It's like we say, Vivek's out there speaking truth. Tucker's out there. Alex Jones out there. There's different people. We can do what we can do. I don't know what it means. We don't know what it's going to turn into. All we know is, as Brian would say, put one step in front of the other, and that's going to have to be good enough. And anyway, God bless you guys, and we'll see you next time. Maybe we'll do. I'm hoping to do a regular thing here and hopefully get smoother and smoother at this, so we look like real pros sooner rather than later. All right, guys. You guys
Take care.
Take care. Goodbye.
Take care.